This is a Globodyne Media Holdings podcast. Unauthorized reproduction or distribution is prohibited.
Previously on Dispatches from Post Reality.
We're going intergalactic, baby.
I'm gonna have to talk to our patron. Let him know it's not. Let him know nobody else has signed up. He needs to up his membership.
We only have the one level. Well, whose fault is that? Not my fault.
I know. Are you reading a handwriting thing?
And yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of that tonight because I have a lot of mine in the notebook. Do you have banter?
No.
Now the topic. I have to kind of use the bathroom. I gotta poop. It's gonna be 45 minutes.
Don't poop. No pooping.
You know what it is? It's because it's too fucking hot in this room. That's all.
Get a ceiling fan.
Yeah, that way you can hear that instead.
Yeah.
Turn my air conditioner down.
Out the sound of the computer. Get a ceiling fan.
All right, run through it. Just kind of run through it. Go, 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 go. Let's do it.
All right.
Bam, bam, bam. How do you spell bureaucracy?
Well, it's just bureaucrat with an ocracy at the end of it. Ha! Got him.
You find this interesting yet, Josh, or is it boring as shit?
It's fascinating.
That's a very polite way to say boring as shit.
Yeah, A for effort on those.
A for effort, and you know what? Look at me working my ass off to make ads. You know what I had to fucking put up with while I was making these ads because I put it all off until today?
Perfect. Great. I love it.
It's good.
Here we are, Joshua, recording on No King's Day. Do you feel empowered? Do you feel empowered about no kings? Because we got rid of that. No monarchs.
I'm trying to. You know, I'm glad that so many people showed up. Did you go to a protest? I didn't even ask you.
No. They had one in town, but I didn't go. I was too busy not caring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of started feeling guilty. I didn't go because I had a lot of work to do to get ready for this. But I was like, definitely lectured my family. I was like, we really should be going to this. You know, like, we are the problem if we don't show up.
Yeah? She continued to be the problem?
Yeah. If there's millions of people who showed up, there's probably also 5 times as many people who are really, like, you know, on that side who care about it. But then, like, if you don't show up, then what's the message? Like, you know, imagine if the protest had like 40 million people nationwide or something, you know?
Well, all these people are showing up, but it's not going to make a lick of difference.
It will in some ways, I think.
You think so?
I mean, I don't
not think
with
so. We're not going to be able to vote our way out of this.
Right, no. We won't vote our way. Well, maybe we will. Maybe it will show enough people, like, I don't know. That's me being hopeful again. I don't know, man.
Stop it. Stop being hopeful. Stop being
Let's talk about
positive about the future.
Yeah, let's talk about real things, like how Kristi Noem just bought 2 private jets for $179 million during the government shutdown or something like that.
Because they still get funding. We're crossing dangerously close to political talk, though. We might get a phone call in the first dispatch.
Exactly. What it really shows you, though, is that I think this is where I feel hopeful. The media keeps telling you MAGA's unhappy about this, MAGA's unhappy about that, MAGA doesn't like this. They're literally only talking about the fucking ghouls in office. The actual people, like the art department went to the protest for a little bit here in town, and there were people with like signs that said, "There's no king but Jesus," and that's not necessarily a statement I go around thinking or like live by. However, there is definitely common cause between me and those people, you know? And so I like that that made me hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw one that says, I saw one poster that said, "Why the fuck am I agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene?"
Yeah.
So,
Well, more reason to agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's happy that George Santos got pardoned.
I mean, to be fair, same. Like, he's my favorite dude in the entire world. Like, I love him so much. He's so
How
funny.
dare you attack a man with a baby?
Yeah, where did that baby come from? Nobody knows. Nobody knows where that baby went either. He's so funny. His cameos, did you ever see those? They're so funny.
I did,
He's
yeah.
so
They're
fucking funny.
That's my goal. One day when we're done with this, we leverage our modicum of fame to become like small time politicians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The shit that he would say would just be like, it has to have been a bit, because he's just like, how far can I take this and people will still be like okay with me being in office? Where his mom, where he said like his mom is in like 9/11 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want to do that whole bit. That could be like a whole routine.
Yeah.
On like Capitol Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you see the New York debate with Mandami and Cuomo and that other Republican guy? Where
No, I
the
haven't watched
Republicans
any
just
of
kept
that.
saying like the most ridiculous things.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty good too. But we are not a political podcast, so we're not going to talk
Not
about
a political podcast.
that.
So, Mom Donnie, do your thing or whatever.
Yeah, I'm excited for him too. But we are going to talk about how you're a fucking lib. You're
Yeah.
a lib, Josh. Yeah. How does that make you feel to be a lib?
I'm not a lib, man.
Don't call me that. Don't
call me a
don't
lib, man.
besmirch my my reputation like that. Mm-hmm. I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out. Season 3, Dispatch 1.
And you're saying, just to be clear, I'm going to reopen the offending page. So,
Yeah. Here's what he's doing, listener. We are setting up, and he had New York Times open. Fucking lib rag.
it says, how psychedelic mushrooms evolved their magic. I mean, it's like a it's like a bait article, you know?
Yeah. A bait for
who
you.
Who doesn't click that?
I know who clicks it. Fucking libs, man. That's what you
man.
are.
I'm a psychic explorer, man. I'm a psychonaut.
Yeah, you're a psychonaut. You're a fucking knot, is what you are.
I'm a fucking knot.
Mm-hmm. You're a fuckhead a knot. Is that a thing?
Nope.
No,
that doesn't even make
it's not?
sense. Nope.
It
No,
does.
it doesn't even make
Makes
sense.
sense to me. Uh-huh. This is the banter you're getting for season 3, dear listener.
Right out the
Expect
gate.
more of this.
Dispatch
Right out of the
number
gate.
1 of season 3, shitty banter.
Yeah.
And you know why?
Shittiest
It's
banter.
because neither of us want to be here, and we haven't figured out how to get our AI personas going yet. So,
I mean, I have. I can call in my own phone call number and just talk to myself.
Yeah, you do that sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm the only one that wants to hear me talk, so.
That is the most feedback we've gotten from the audience, actually. Dale is the only one who likes his own voice.
I don't. Nobody likes it. I have to just live with it, so I've just become attuned to it.
I know.
G.I. Joe's, $28. What the fuck, Hasbro? $28
Is that a bad price for
one
G.I.
dude?
Joe? That seems like normal.
It's a lot. No, it's a lot. They started off $19.99 when I started buying them in 2020. And
2020.
Yeah,
that was a big gap between. Yeah. Okay. Well, they're a luxury item. They are just contributing to the plastic waste on the planet, mostly. What do you want, man?
I don't know. Not be 20. Like
Petroleum
$25
based
is already pushing it.
I mean, imagine the amount of petroleum that goes into making your G.I. Joe dude that really is going to be needed for the war machine here in a couple years.
Yeah, not looking forward to that either. So I'll just collect more useless cardboard Digimon cards. I think that's what I'm going to transition to doing again. Can't buy any waifus from Japan. Too expensive.
Oh, yeah?
Too much for the tariffs. Can't buy those anymore.
Are the tariffs on your
G.I.
waifus?
Joes. Yeah, because they got rid of the de minimis tax.
Isn't Japan like, don't we have, I thought we had, well, I guess we don't have a sweet trade deal with anybody anymore. Never mind.
No. Well, they're all made in China before they go to Japan, and then it's about the manufacturing country. It's not the country that they're being shipped from.
Oh,
So, all my plastic women that I have in my office are gonna
now,
cost double.
yeah, but now you can now they're a commodity you can sell. They're only going up in value.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. World sucks. You know what doesn't suck though, dear listener? The fine projects and services offered by our sponsors that are coming up right now.
Right now.
Right now. Joshua, do you ever find yourself needing data at the very last moment to get that paper submitted or those submissions to the FDA done?
Oh, man, my FDA submissions all the time. They always reject them, but yeah.
It's because you don't have the right data. But Larson & Larson data facilitators can get you the data or make the data for you. Whatever you need in a moment's notice to get your submissions done. Do you have a last-minute review paper that needs a couple figures? They can help you. Do you have an experiment that's just not quite working out to get the p-value that you want? Well, they can help you there too. Larson & Larson data facilitators will get you the data that you need whenever you need it. That sounds like something that I think we should look into, Joshua, because we could definitely use them to boost our metrics.
Oh, yeah. Will they give us like some good data on metrics? That would be good. Most of the people I know kind of tend to do this on their own. So is there any kind of quality assurance with the Larson & Larson's data?
The quality is definitely in the numbers, for sure. They will get you the numbers that you need, no matter how difficult it seems to get them.
All right. Well, maybe we should check that out, dude.
So, Larson & Larson data facilitators, 24-hour turnaround for any of your data needs, guaranteed. Use discount code DISPATCHES to get 10% off your next data purchase.
Hold on. This dangle game doesn't have a pause. Let me get somewhere safe. I'm actually topping the ladder right now, and this game counts.
What are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing the new live service Demolition Razor by Globodyne Interactive. It's got everything you could hope for. Adrenaline-pumping high-speed racing, edge-of-the-seat crashes, and gruesome horse collision physics.
Why are you playing this while we should be recording?
Oh, I mean, well, I was sent the sample, and we work for Globodyne now, so
You don't.
I'm on the clock,
Okay.
technically.
I see. All right. Anyways, the leaderboard. So, what is this game about? You said chariot crashes?
Oh, hold on. The spelling is weird. I'm not really sure how to say it, so don't laugh. Okay. It's called Wheels Chariot Crashers. It's weird.
I see.
You start out as an early chariot culture and then earn perks and cosmetics to build up and customize your chariot to be a rolling death machine.
Cool. Can you close this up now?
It's pretty fun. I mean, oh shit. I just died. That's
Okay.
going to affect my ladder.
How many people are playing this?
Oh, there's tons, man. Like, there's 40 people in this match. I'm on, like I said, there's a really active ladder. I kind of spend a little bit of money, and I think, it's because I'm testing it for the company that I kind of need to have a better chariot. So
Here we go.
anyway,
Pay to
check it
play.
out today on Dreamweb 2.0 and touch the Post Reality sticker to receive an exclusive Dispatches from Post Reality 13-horse team. Although you'll have to unlock or purchase the Rolling Fortress chariot to use that.
Do you have a hankering for cobbler? Do you have a hankering for Toddler's tea and a fine cafe experience? Then come on down to Uncle Rico's Cobbler Cafe. They have a wide variety of fruit cobblers. Apple, strawberry, peach. Uncle Rico's Cobbler Cafe has everything you need to satisfy that cobbler craving. Use Dispatch's discount code SADBOYS for 10% off your next cobbler order. And then wash it down with a nice boba tea. That's Uncle Rico's Cobbler Cafe. Visit them now. And we're back.
What is a human? It's a pretty simple question, and on the surface it's pretty easy to answer. A human is a form of animal that has, for some reason, chosen to live in elaborately constructed shelters, adorns themselves in elaborate coverings, eats overly complicated and often unhealthy foods, and chooses to go to great lengths to do these things despite the fact that doing so often causes them misery. At the same time, humans have the capacity to create stunning works of art or stories that have the ability to change their own or others' perspectives, even from across the millennia. Truly, we are of two natures, born of both the earth and the stars, so to speak. Perhaps our nature is neither material nor ethereal, but a combination of these two things into one unique experience. In the words of the sage Patanjali, now begins the exposition of yoga.
Neat.
Neat. Now, it took me a while to come up with that one.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah. I mean, today, because I did so much other stuff.
Good intro, Joshua. So yoga.
Yoga.
Are we going to be yogis by the time that we're done with this? Or are you going to be a yogi?
I already am. I'm hoping to help you be one.
Me? I don't want to be a yogi.
Oh, then. But maybe that's the most yogi thing to say.
Yeah, is to know thyself enough to know what you don't want to do. Yeah, I think that's pretty true.
Actually.
When did we learn about yogi flying? That's really the only thing that I care about.
Oh, not till the very, very, very end, man.
Ugh, okay. I'll be sure to touch base with you throughout the episode.
Yeah. You want me to go ahead and give you the secrets of how to fly?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I skip all this bullshit about like breathing and like holding in your gut. I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to know how to fly.
Well, you jump at the ground and you miss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like Douglas Adams. You ever read Hitchhiker's Guide?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I read the audiobook. Listened to the audiobook. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did that.
Oh, when I read it, I guess there were audiobooks, but they would have been like on tape. You know.
Sidebar. I actually had the whole original trilogy of Star Wars on cassette tape as an audio play.
Oh, that's super cool.
Mm-hmm. I think I
still
might
have
still
it?
have them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. It was like, I think there was like 6 cassettes per episode. So
Oh, I bet.
it was like
Yeah.
18 cassettes.
And it's the entire thing? Like the
Mhm.
entire movie, just only the audio track?
No, I think they had other people redo it. I don't remember exactly. It's
man.
been like 20 years since I listened to them.
Dude, that would be super cool. I could get super high and listen to that. Super high from levitating because I'm a yogi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are we learning about? Give me the skinny.
We're learning about yoga, but we're going to take a quick little detour for a second.
Mhm.
Dale, what are your opinions on cultural appropriation and decolonization?
I don't know. I think that experiencing and sharing one's culture is not necessarily a bad thing.
That's the post-reality stance. We live in the post-reality. But, you know, I was doing all this, and then, like, one of my sources is Aleister Crowley, because actually his 8 lectures on yoga is a really good primer on yoga. I mean,
Mhm.
somewhat. You have to be in his universe a little bit, but it's a pretty good place to start if you like Aleister Crowley. And, you know, Aleister Crowley kind of traveled to the Himalayas during a time when it wasn't great under the British, you know?
Yeah, I think it's great under the British now, so.
Well, it's not under the British anymore. You know, that,
Well, I
that
meant
ended
just
in
in
like
general.
1947.
Was it 1947?
Yeah.
I thought it was pre-World War One. Or no, World War II that he was doing stuff.
No, I'm saying that's when the British colony, the British left India.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just saying, like, some of my sources came from somebody who was a pretty well-off British person.
Mm-hmm.
During a time when the British were, what's the word?
The bad guys?
The bad guys. Yeah, they were the bad guys. And, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the stuff I have, like my copy of Patanjali's aphorisms that I've had for a while, is the Theosophical Society version. It's a good
Mhm.
version. It's got good commentary in it, but, you know, once again, these were colonizers, and we should recognize that.
Yes.
And in general, we should be aware that the history of yoga is largely, although it's something that's valuable, can be valuable for everybody and can be appreciated by everybody, and we are one species and we have one shared cultural experience that here in the post-reality we can truly celebrate with each other. It is a specific people's history.
Kind of like the history of tea, is that most people didn't start caring about it until it made its way to Europe, but it has a whole long backstory before we got there.
Yeah. The interesting thing, though, we'll get to this, but we have a common ancestral heritage with the people who are responsible for yoga, basically. Anyway, that's it. That's that little sidebar. Colonialism, not great. Not fans of it.
Colonialism is for...
Yeah. Post-reality, though, pretty good. Can you make an inverse fart sound? There you go. Sucked it back in. Okay. What is yoga?
Are you asking
Yoga
me,
means,
or are you going to tell me?
Well, you can answer it.
Yoga is a soft serve dairy product that you can get all kinds of toppings in, and
That's not it. That's not it.
No, that's not it.
That's yogurt.
It's just yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga with
I know you can't
T
read.
at the end of it.
Yogurt. That would be yogurt, which is like a form of nougat, I think.
Copyright. That's ours. That's
Yeah,
our
yogurt.
yoga branded nougat treat.
Okay. Yogurt.
Yogurt.
Is it probiotic? Sounds like it's got a probiotic in there.
It's
Yeah.
good for you. It's yogurt.
Yogurt. Need some help.
Mm-hmm.
Yoga means union. That's what Crowley tells you over and over in his 8 lectures on yoga. And it does. The word yoga, it's the same root word in Greek as yug, which means to yoke, which means to bind two things together. Pretty neat. Like I said, man, there's so much commonality between the language because all of this is Proto-Indo-European. I didn't know going into this that there was so much in common with English and Sanskrit, but the language has the same common roots. So that's pretty neat. And in short, it is the binding together of your physical self with your higher self, you know?
Interesting.
It's one of the 6 orthodox Hindu philosophies called the darshanas. And they're all about the same. They're all like interpretations of how to apply the Vedas, essentially, you know?
Define Veda for us.
Veda.
What is a Veda?
It's like the Vedas are the Hindu scriptures. It's like where the cool stories about like where people say like it proves ancient aliens, you know? It's where the cool stories about Vishnu and Shiva and all that stuff. They have like it's their scriptures and essentially their Bible, I guess.
I see.
If you want to call it that. I don't think that's an appropriate word, but I guess, you know.
Sacred text.
It's a collection of hymns, philosophies, scriptures, you know, and guidance, sacred texts. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about the history of yoga and where it comes from. So the history of yoga is largely the history of India, basically.
Mm-hmm. So yoga and India are basically tied at the hip for all intents and purposes. Yoked, if you will.
Yoked. Very much so, yeah. I mean, because like, we'll get to it. So early civilization in the Indus Valley region was generally made up of hunter-gatherer tribes, and then cultivation and agriculture spread throughout and the world, and cities began to emerge, such as Babylon. And in the Indus Valley region civilization, you had cities like Harappa, Lothal, and a site called Mohenjo-Daro. And the cities, just like Babylon, showed advanced planning, law and religious culture, and even had sophisticated sanitation. They had plumbing, basically, that, you know, you had toilets or something you would dump into a plumbing system, and it ran down and removed it from your house. Pretty cool. And early Sanskrit writings, a lot of Vedic stuff and yoga stuff is about cleanliness. Those are the earliest moral things, moral prerogatives that most religions give you. I mean, even like Talmudic law, like has a lot to do with basically cleanliness, you know? I mean, if you think about it, It's year like 5000 BCE, and you don't have cars. You don't have the option to run people off the road. You don't have guns. You don't have any of the things that we really should have moral codes written about now. You just kind of have like where to put your poop, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how to comport yourself around other people in a non-animal way kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, like all those early texts and stuff like that always have like a lot of like just nowadays I would say common sense items in them, but imagine like having to be like the guy to explain that to somebody and like 5,000 years ago it's like, yeah, you should only wipe with your left hand, right?
Right. And you wipe with your left hand, shake hands with your right.
And then like having to that basically just build that into foundational text, which I think is like an interesting thing.
You know, we take so much, like toilet paper is one of those things we take like for granted so much. All right.
Mhm.
Talking about wiping, but we didn't always have it, Dale. Before toilet paper, I know in the United States, do you know people used corn cobs to wipe with?
I don't know if I'd wipe my ass with a corn cob.
Yeah. Or rope. That's how they dealt with it on like ships crossing the ocean. There was a last podcast episode about this, about some, it was about a ship that crashed in the South Pacific somewhere or something, washed ashore and blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about in the crossing how basically the bathroom was just, there's a part in the deck where there was just a hole all the way down to the water. You texting?
You mean the literal poop deck? I did. I'll
Toilet
get to that in a second.
The poop deck. And there was just a rope hanging down it. And that was what you wiped with, was like, I guess the rope hopefully hung down in the water, and it was a shared facility. But like, what else were you going to do? You wouldn't use a corn cob. You wouldn't use a magazine page. You wouldn't use like a convenient leaf. There's many things you wouldn't use because your entire life you've had this concept of toilet paper. Cloth, just think about like linen, was probably too valuable to just wipe your ass with, and you would still end up sharing it. Like it would still be a family commodity at the very least, you know? Like your hand was probably 8,000 years ago, like the main thing to use. That is fucking wild. And
Yeah.
the year 1999,
Uh-huh.
around like, I don't know, I'd say maybe starting around October, maybe a little bit earlier, my father was so terrified of Y2K and the probability of the collapse of civilization that by the time January 1st of the year 2000 hit, we had a walk-in closet the size of my entire recording space here that was floor to ceiling, back wall to door toilet paper. We had toilet paper for like 5 years, basically, because my dad was afraid of there not being toilet paper after Y2K.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real fear, man.
Think about like just during COVID, and now we're just talking about toilet paper.
I
Listener.
bought a bidet during COVID because of that.
Did you?
Yeah, because you couldn't get toilet paper.
I had to bring like a pack of toilet paper to one of my like coworkers' house because she could not find toilet paper in the store to save her life.
Yeah.
Like now I have this thing, the Charmin Forever roll, which is what I just texted you.
Yeah, let me see that.
You should get a look at this thing. It's just the kit on the box says that you don't have to change the roll for an entire month.
Oh my God.
It looks like one of those industrial toilet paper roll.
I've never seen this. And then you have like an industrial toilet paper roll that goes, it's like refillable.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the ultimate evolution of how you can't buy paper towels anymore, or even toilet paper that aren't like one roll equals 8 rolls, you know?
I think that you
Dang.
can sue them for
Did you buy that?
disingenuous. No, it was $30. I wasn't buying that.
But
I
it's
saw
like
that
a
and I was
lifetime
like-
supply.
Yeah, I think that you could sue them for false advertisement because that roll will not last you forever. It'll last you for a while, though. It's a lot
That
of
is
toilet
crazy. That is wild. So it's $30 for the kit, and then how much per roll?
paper. $30. It's like fucking
roll.
printer ink. Yeah.
I mean, just buy the rolls then.
get you a piece of dowel for, like, why do you pay $35? I guess you're just paying $5 for the roll thing it's on because you get a roll with it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, digression into toilet paper culture. There evidence of trade between these Indus Valley civilization cities and cities in the Middle East. Like there's seals, clay tablet type seals from the Indus Valley cities and Babylon and vice versa. It's pretty cool. The language of these people have never been deciphered and died out, and by 1900 BCE, the peoples had dispersed due to climate events and other factors. In their ruins have been found clay tablets and figures that show continuity between their religions and later religions in India, such as Jainism and Hinduism. Also, many of these artifacts show yoga postures and are accompanied by undecipherable writings.
Undecipherable, huh?
Yeah, so the language of the Indus Valley civilization has never been deciphered. So the cool thing about this is we have these things we treat as races, but they're just language roots, right? So Semitic cultures, meaning peoples of the Middle East, Horn of Africa, have a common language root. That's why there's like between, because their language is written differently, but between Arabic and Hebrew, I know for a fact that the letter that represents M, which is mem in Hebrew, I don't know what it's called in Arabic, it looks similar. It's like flowing water. And I think like also that's also the case like into the Horn of Africa and stuff. So those are the Semitic peoples. Once again, we're talking about not races, we're talking about language subgroups. And then the Indus Valley civilization was another language subgroup that just died off. Like that language subgroup, nobody's ever deciphered. There's no known languages that it derive from it.
So there's no Rosetta Stone to link it to something else, huh?
Right, exactly. And that's kind of what the Rosetta Stone was. Actually, well, yeah, there's no Rosetta Stone for that one. Rosetta Stone had hieroglyphics. What is it? It had hieroglyphics.
The top and middle texts were in ancient Egyptian using hieroglyphic and demotic scripts, respectively, while the bottom was ancient Greek.
Oh, okay. Okay, Greek. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So the other cool thing is that the Indus Valley civilization, well, I already said this, how they overlap through trade with Babylon. And what was really fascinating is that I was sitting here doing my research yesterday, I kind of got on how the word Brahma, the chief deity, the big guy in Hinduism, looks a lot like Abraham. And both of those names mean like father of the multitude. So it's like there's like a shared mythology in many ways between the Indus Valley civilization and these like Semitic peoples, essentially. And it makes sense. It's not really that far apart, actually. You have like India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and then you're into the Middle East where, Abraham was out there making all his kids. Yeah. And then you get into the Vedic period, which the Vedic age in ancient India is the heroic age of ancient Indian civilization. It's also the formative period when the basic foundations of Indian civilization were laid down. These include the emergence of early Hinduism as the foundational religion of India and the social religious phenomenon known as caste. The period of India's history lasted from before 1500 BCE through 500 BCE. That is from the early days of the Aryan migration into northwest India through to the age of the Buddha.
So the caste system is that old? That's like 3,500 years old?
It's 3,500 years old. And like the Vedas, the culture that brought the Vedas in, all of it comes from the Aryan peoples. And this is where my research today got, not just today, I did other research besides today, got really interesting because, we have culturally probably a negative understanding of the word Aryan because it's been used to describe a discredited racial theory because the Nazis confused a language subgroup with a race and then said we were part of this race. But the Aryan
language subgroup, the Proto-Indo-European language-speaking peoples, of which the Aryan tribes are part of, were just a steppes people from up in the steppes where all the cool stuff was, where they had horses, which was kind of the big thing they had. Are you familiar with, did you ever read or encounter the Jared Diamond Guns, Germs, and Seals book? Guns,
No,
Germs,
I
and
have
Steel?
not.
It's basically the idea that like the cultures that came to be major settling forces in the world, they had basically just agricultural advantages. So this is like one of the biggest examples of that, where the Proto-Indo-European speaking peoples had horses. They just had horses. That's where horses come from. And early on, horses were pretty small, little things, and they were just raised for like milk and meat, basically. They just were food animals. But through like domestication and raising them, they got bigger. And then the wheel came along, and essentially they were the first people to develop chariots, which is where you get all of your chariot riding cultures from. Like the Greeks with their chariots were derived from the steppes peoples who came into their region of the world. The Indus Valley people, like these Aryans, came into the Indus Valley. They settled. They created little tribal societies, because they had chariots. Essentially, it was such a huge advantage that it helped them settle that part of the world.
Interesting.
Do you know that this is why Hinduism and the Nordic religions, like the Odinic religions, feel similar? Like you have a lot of similarities in the stories between the pantheistic view. You have like the father of all, Odin, who is like, the main god guy, big guy up there. You have Brahma, who's the father of all in India. That's why you have like this, and you have even the Greek religions are similar, in that regard. And it's because the Proto-Indo-European speaking peoples, the Aryans, brought with them into India a religion based on the worship of many gods and goddesses. This ancient religion is depicted in collections of oral poetry and prose, hymns and prayers, chants, spells, and commentaries, known as the Vedas.
How does this parallel with what's going on in Mesopotamia and in the Far East and stuff like that? Like where are we situating in the timeline?
A lot of the Far East actually derives from these same peoples, right? These same Proto-Indo-European speaking peoples, I think, because it would have to, because the range of the steppes, like you're talking about the Mongolian Empire also, you know what I'm saying? So there would have been similarities. I didn't read anything about that, but like talking about the development of religion as a whole, what you have is so the Indus Valley civilization, that goes back to like, let me look at my notes here. The Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so Indus Valley civilization is like 2500 to 1500 BCE, which is basically contemporaneous with Babylon. I think it's actually older. I think some of the sources I have put it at like 5000 BCE. We have some competing narratives, and this is kind of the thing where, as a species, we like to tell our stories as if they're superior to other people's stories, But I know that the Indus Valley civilizations existed contemporaneous with Babylon because we have evidence of trade between those peoples, and contemporaneous with the Egyptian dynasties. So it would also be religion-wise. It means that the pre-Vedic, these Indus Valley civilization peoples are contemporaneous with, how do you say it? Like the Old Testament, essentially. They're like, Moses is getting the 10 Commandments kind of around the same time.
I see.
They're all sharing ideas back and forth, essentially. I know that some people don't maybe like that, but it's actually kind of cool. It shows that we're one species and that like our myths are all interconnected, I think. And then the Aryan peoples coming into the Indus Valley was around 1000 BCE, which, what's happening in the Middle East and Europe in 1000 BCE?
1006, David becomes king of the ancient Israel. So that's about what we're at right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Assyrians started conquering neighboring regions. Anatolia is founded.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, and it kind of goes into like well, I meant to say this actually. Listen, history is fucking big. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of shit happened. And I'm not a historian. And I've been doing a lot of reading. This is a whole part of the world that, like, I'm not even familiar with their history, you know? I had an Arts of India class in college, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite classes. And it went over a lot of this. So, like, some of the Indus Valley civilization stuff, I knew, you know, but it was art-focused, so it didn't get into all the weeds on this, you know? Go read a book. What do you want?
Yeah, dear listener, go read. Go
read
read
a
a
book.
fucking book.
Go read a fucking book. I'm just giving you a brief overview, all right? Let's see. Jared Diamond. First horses. So then the Aryan peoples settled in the Indus Valley region. They created all these tribes. You know, it was kind of like a warlord situation. Like one dude with a chariot shows up in your town. He says, I'm the king now. You're like, no, you're not. He runs you over. That's basically how it went down. And so you got a bunch of like little tribes throughout what is modern day India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. And they all have one chariot in the village. They're building more, you know, and they're in war. They're like, so this is where you get the Mahabharata war, which is detailed in the Rig Veda and is later gets turned into the epic poem, which is the Bhagavad Gita. And this is the story where Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, is in dialect with the charioteer and archer, Arjuna, you know, and he's telling them all about how cool it is that you have a soul, that the world is immaterial and illusion, that, you know, if you think about these things, you can fire your arrows straighter, that kind of stuff. And that, it's not really the full foundation of yoga because, as I said, the Indus Valley civilization cities had figures that were like these little clay figures that were in yoga postures, you know. So there has to be a blending of cultures here, which makes sense, right? Because these like Aryan peoples are coming in. There's already people there, and they're like, cool story, cool chariot. Look at this, like, look at how I can put my foot behind my head and stand like this for 2 hours, you know? That is where actually that time period, which was from 1800 to 800 BCE, is this big Mahabharata war, which is in this book, Grant Morrison's 18 Days. Sounds like more than 18 days.
Sounds like a lot more than 18 days.
But it's a beautiful art book that is like a retelling of the Bhagavad Gita. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Not looking and it's dark.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that more later. Maybe I'll take pictures of it and send to just you.
Instead of having to look at it in your dark ass office.
Oh, I don't have a camera on my phone. You remember when it died? Remember when we were trying to record and it started updating? I haven't had a camera since then. How long has that been? Months.
Oh, goodness. That was months? You still haven't gotten a new phone?
I'm getting a new phone now. Like, I'm getting it. I pay for Apple Care. I meant to turn it off and I never did. So this is the second phone replacement I'm getting from Apple for only $100. Pretty good deal. Anyway.
So we've gotten this whole history of everybody that's happening in the Indus Valley and all that other stuff, right? How do we get to, like, being flexible? What's the conduit there?
You already, that, like I said, you have the clay figures the whole time from the Indus Valley civilization. So they were already doing that somewhat, But we're getting there. We're still like 1,000 years from that. Don't worry though. I'm gonna tell you every year as we go. Towards the end of the Vedic age, the 200 sections of poetry and prose that were originally included as commentaries on the Vedas were written and were ultimately separated out into their own body of work. These Upanishads, which is the name of them, they're like these expansion packs on the Vedas, you know.
Uh-huh. So they're your extra source books to the core rule book that is the Vedas.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And they kind of fill out the philosophies around how like the material world is an illusion, and this distraction is what causes all the suffering in the world of samsara. Like it's where all like all this stuff is technically in the Vedas, but it's like you need a priest to describe it. So the Upanishads were originally just commentaries, and then they were broken out into their own like body of work.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so that basically expands on yoga. Like that's where a lot of the expansion on yoga comes from. Then you got a little guy named Siddhartha in 500 BCE. He's a Nepalese prince who was tired of seeing all the suffering around him. So he kind of gave up being a prince, yada, yada, yada. He sat under a tree for 7 days until he figured it out. Didn't really mean to yada, yada, yada the Buddha. While most yoga is associated with Hinduism, all spiritual traditions in India have their own types of yoga, including Buddhism. According to the life story of the Buddha, while seeking enlightenment, he met with every spiritual teacher he could find, sampling all of the yogic traditions within India at the time. After spending time practicing extreme ascetic yoga, he concluded that he was no closer to enlightenment. Rejecting the extreme asceticism, he embraced an approach that was, quote, a middle way between the extremes of indulgence and complete renunciation. He ate some food, found a comfortable seat under a tree, and soon became enlightened. This story demonstrates how the religious dialogue between Hinduism and Buddhism fueled developments in yogic traditions. So this is on the Rubin Museum website. And then, let's see. So now we're getting to the actual who is considered the father of yoga, who is the sage Patanjali, who basically took all of these Vedas and Upanishads that were basically indecipherable from, and only could be passed down through gurus, and he turned it into the first written guide on yoga. And that is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Those were written, so he wrote from, and this is what I read in several sources, from 200 BCE all the way through to the 10th century CE. He wrote 3 main treatises, the Yoga Sutras, a guide on grammar, and a guide on Ayurveda.
Seems I'm doing the math on that, and it's not adding up for me, Joshua.
So I think probably it's one of these things that we do several times in our history, right? This is like how the Tao Te Ching is probably written by several people and all credited to Lao Tzu, the, founder of Taoism. And there's a lot of stuff like this,
Well, what
a
if
lot
it's
of cultures
just him
do this.
coming back?
It could be
each
that. That is one of
reincarnation.
the, Patanjali is considered a divine being by some, and he either kept coming back or maybe he just lived that long. I mean, the Yoga Sutras say that basically you can, through the art of yoga, you become immortal. Maybe he was just immortal, but maybe the immortality was more like reincarnation, because a lot of them do deal with reincarnation.
Well, it's like that whole thing with like the ancient, like Sumerian and like Abrahamic religions and stuff like that. That like the people way long time ago lived a lot longer, right? And I have a theory about this. If you want to hear this,
I have a theory, but I want to hear your theory.
Okay, my theory is that because we are all part of the global consciousness, right? Is that each time we divide that, like the lifespan gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And because each time there's an increase in the amount of people, it reduces the amount of everybody's lifespan. And it's only now that we can start like going backwards and trying to expand it a little bit through modern science and stuff like that. But like, because there's only like 10,000 people like back in the day, everybody lived for just like a really fucking long time because they had so much of that cosmic, you know, global consciousness.
Juice. Yeah.
It's like, so in DC comic books, right, is that, because I can always relate it to a comic book reference, is that there's the mythological force, the speed force, right? And that's what all of the speedsters tap into. So like Flash, Kid Flash, Other Flash, and everything else like that. And the more like Flash and speedsters you have tapping into the speed force, the less powerful each one gets, right? But if you have Reverse Flash, right, which is he's yellow and red instead of red and yellow, he actually is the only one to use the reverse speed force.
Would that just be slow?
No, he's also fast because reasons. But because of that, he actually goes backwards in time, right? And he can actually tap into a lot more of the cosmic forces than regular Flash can, because he's not multiple reverse flashes.
Does he age backwards?
Mm-hmm.
That's like Merlin. You know, Merlin lives backwards through time.
Yep. Anyways, but that's kind of like my theory on the whole thing, is that the reason everybody lived really long time back in the days because there's a lot more of that consciousness energy to focus in on somebody.
Boy, you're going to hate mine. So like Methuselah, the oldest person in the Bible, lived like 900 something years, right? I don't remember the exact number. It was 900 something. Now, if you just divide that by the number of lunar cycles in a year, which we know is 13, you come up with an age of 69 years old, which is a very reasonable age to live and be very old in the year like 6000 BC, you know?
Yeah. I got that, and I know that that's probably the real truth, but I like to think about mine as being the right
No, I
one.
like yours better. I do like yours better. I mean, you know, I think that it's the most natural. I mean, this is just me putting my stupid foot in the middle of it. It's obviously the most natural thing for a human to do, to think about how they could live way, 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 way longer than everybody else around them. And to me, that is one of the main things that as a yogi or even a Buddhist or whatever, you have to confront. Like I have a book, I don't remember what it's called. Or I remember what it's called. I don't remember who it's written by, but it's called Training the Mind in the Great Way. And basically the main beginning part of it is how you have to accept that you're going to die and be like chill with that, you know, and how that's like one of the main blockages to enlightenment is that people can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to live like an average amount of time, maybe less, you know, maybe only like 40 years or maybe only 20 years, but it's just going to be the amount of time I lived, you know.
Me? I'm going to live forever.
Oh, I'm going to live 400 years at minimum. My theory is that if you can make it to 150, then you've already proven you can do it and you have no problem making it to 400. If you make it to 400, you probably are done. But if you're not, you probably have no problem making it to 1,000, you know?
So this is the same thing about like if you could make it to 80, you have like a 90% chance of making it to 90 and stuff.
Yeah, basically.
I see.
I also have like a whole thing on like, you should have your funeral now so that you can be there and like be there with the people who care about you and hear what they say about you. They can't say shit behind your back, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to attend my own funeral because I'm going to be taxidermied.
Oh, I'm going to hold my own funeral. I think at some point I'm going to be like, all right, guys, we're going to have my funeral. We're going to celebrate it this week. I don't know. I don't think anybody would show up.
I'll
but
show
then
up for you.
You know who your real friends are.
Mm-hmm. I'll be like, this is weird as fuck. He's a weird as fuck dude. Here we are doing this shit.
Oh,
I'll just
so
play
yeah.
a supercut of all the shit that you said on the podcast that I cut out.
Oh, man. Yeah, that'll be good.
Listen to all this stuff that's going to get him canceled.
Good thing I'm dead.
Good thing he's dead.
let's see here. So prior to Patanjali, the only yoga writings that could be derived from the Vedas and Upanishads can only be interpreted and disseminated by a guru. Patanjali's aphorisms were also only to be passed down through a series of gurus. So, you're supposed to only learn this stuff like from your guru. He wasn't supposed to share the secrets. You weren't, The good thing about us, Dale, we live in the post-reality where all the information is here for us to use.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing is that the information density is so high that it's really hard to apply them. So that's our struggles.
So they were a big believer of this master apprentice kind of stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of stuff around it that is, you can see where the caste system really comes in. Because Crowley, in his 8 lectures on yoga, and he's only writing what he reads, talks about how, what he read, what he studied, he talks about how you have to move into the country. You can't have a family around you. You can't have any distractions. You can't have to attend to any of your daily needs. You have to have servants to bring you stuff. That's the only way you can attain enlightenment. That's the only way you can do this practice. To me, what that reads on Crowley's part is that he was a rich British person traveling in a British colony where everybody was essentially enslaved. And it'd be fascinating to see how he interpreted that in 2025 if he were alive. Although he was, for his time, pretty wealthy. We'd probably hate him. In the time of Patanjali, it's just caste system stuff, But we've talked about this before. It is essentially, even if you go back to Crowley's time, but even more so if you go back to the year, somewhere between the year 200 BCE and the 10th century CE, anywhere in there, the only people who were attaining the top of Maslow's pyramid had servants, of course you think you have to have servants to attain enlightenment because you have servants. And if you don't have servants, well, you are a servant and you don't have time. The great thing about our time is that now basically everybody is a servant, so nobody has time. And with all the spread out cosmic juice, it becomes Highlander rules, and you can suck up as much of it personally as you can from other people by podcasting, by being a yoga teacher, by doing anything to suck up as much cosmic juice and get a couple more years of study over people,
So basically what you're espousing is that the key to success is to be a psychic vampire?
It might be. No, I'm not saying that.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that, Crowley's going on about, okay, you gotta give up all your shit and all that other stuff. Is that, the whole meditation of the Buddha is oh, wait, I don't need to do all of that to achieve enlightenment. He sat under the tree for 40 years and then was hey, you know what? It's okay to, like berries and shit. It's okay to stuff. Let people like things was the key to enlightenment.
Right. I mean, truly what it is, and I was actually talking about this today with the art department, is that Dale, I'm a wizard. I've been through some magical orders. I've done some magical stuff. Pretty cool shit. And Crowley is full of all that. And Crowley never gave up anything. I mean, he did for purposes of magical ritual, but he was not an ascetic at all. I mean, he gave up.
The only thing
he gave up a lot of stuff. He gave up a lot of semen.
I was about to say, he gave up a lot of that old sperm.
Yeah. But he wasn't an ascetic. He wasn't living in austerity. I mean, he would do that for a time when it made sense to do so. I mean, we'll get into this eventually when we get to the practical nature of this, but we will get to this. But there's a lot of moral constraints on these early yoga writings. That the one thing I like about Crowley as a source on it is that he says, okay, most of this is just ancient moralizing, right? You don't have to be told to be clean in the year 1901. I'm sure there's a lot of dirty British people in 1901, but Crowley was wealthy and had the privilege of being pretty clean. You know, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Actually, Crowley's whole thing on that is you first have to discover what it is your will to achieve in life. And then the other half of that statement, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will, right? Crowley, in his 8 lectures on yoga, talks about, and we'll talk more about Crowley later in the season, but he talks about yoga, the idea of joining, is this universal force that we are separated, but for the opportunity to come back together. And that's, to him, what yoga is. So, you know, your eternal soul always wants to be joined with your material sense to create an experience. And what yoga is finding that path to joining those for, I guess, optimization, min-maxing your experience. Although yoga poses go back to the beginning and clay figures and tablets, as we talked about, and as Patanjali talked about, around the 14th or 15th century, Hatha yoga began to appear as yoga schools focused on the body movements and control. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika by Swami Swatmarama is a series of scriptures dealing with postures, breath, and meditation techniques, but the goal is still achieving samadhi, which is the oneness with the universal soul. Sam, meaning the same thing as sin, the prefix sin, as in synonym, and adi, meaning basically the universal soul. So you're becoming one with the universal soul, is what the meaning of the word samadhi is. That is actually the root of Hatha yoga, is the root of what we think of as yoga today. A series of, although it wasn't the same flow yoga where you're moving through a series of postures, Hatha yoga was still like, you're going to put your heel behind your neck and you're going to stay there for like 2 hours until you hear the voice of God, basically.
Yeah. So basically the voice of God is all the blood that's being cut off to your rest of your body.
No, those are distractions. And if you fall to them and get out of the posture, you've already lost. So you'll know the voice of God when you hear it. You won't be able to deny it. You will.
I know that we've talked about it before. Do you think that there's people that hear the voice of God and just nobody believes them and everybody just tells them to take more like antipsychotics?
There's probably those people. There's probably the people that actually hear the voice of God and they just don't talk about it in the terms
yeah, like
that
there's somebody at work who's just constantly, he's like God's just telling him, he's like, you need to start a new church. You need to start a new church.
Exactly.
You need to start a new church. And he's just like, shut the fuck up. I got to get this Excel sheet done.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. I've never heard that, just to clarify. Let's see here. Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is this book here. Look at that. Got all these books. That's where most of my sources are books on this one. Series of postures, breath work, and meditations. Mudras, where you like, mudras are like different hand postures or tongue postures, stuff like that. And you just hold them for like, and then that later, and we're coming up to the end of the history of yoga. Yoga today is everywhere. Wherever you live, you can likely find a yoga studio near you, even in many small towns. Not all of them. I doubt there's one in the small town I came from. It was made popular through the 50s and 60s, largely by BKS Iyengar. BKS he's a whole Indian name guy, and even his book that I have right here somewhere, it just says BKS. That's because his name is so long. Let's see. I'm going to see if it's in here. It's probably in here. It's a good name. It's probably a strong name. Isn't there a thing is there an about the author? It's not going to put his name on here. Everywhere it says his name, it just says BKS. I'll have to look it up. I think it's like BTK. BKS.
BTS. His name is just that Korean pop band.
All right. Bilur Krishna Machar Sundaranja Iyengar. It's a long name.
I don't know. I've heard longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is who popularized yoga in the United States. Starting in the 50s and 60s, he started a school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, later moved to San Francisco. It's like the big yoga school almost internationally. Anyway, so even Christians got into yoga, starting like in the 80s. Yeah, you have a whole Christian yoga movement, and there's this guy who was a yogi, converted to Christianity.
What is Christian yoga?
It's yoga, but instead of focusing on, Brahma, you're focusing on Jesus.
I see.
A lot of Christians don't like it. There's so this is the thing you can read here, the highlight.
In 1989, Pope Benedict, then Cardinal Ratzinger, issued a scathing report against yoga and warned Catholics of dangers and errors from non-Christian forms of meditation. He stated, "The Hindu concept of absorbing of the human self into the divine self is never possible, not even in the highest states of grace." The above debate was sparked off by the appearance of Christian yoga, which uses the techniques of yoga, especially asana and pranayama, but avoids the philosophy or theistic elements. Christian yoga has a huge and growing following in the States, and alarm bells are ringing in many conservative and orthodox circles as they fear that yoga, and the Hinduism in particular, is infiltrating and debasing their religion. Dun dun dun. That's from the Yoga Alliance.
That's from the Yoga Alliance. And so that's basically, it makes sense. I mean, I grew up in a very, and I'm not even Catholic. This is the Catholic perspective, but I grew up in a, I grew up in a place in a time where there's only one way, one truth, and one light. And many people still believe that way. That's fine. They're not going to do yoga, and they're not going to be happy about it. And that's what I'm saying. There's
no pleasing people.
Why are we not allowed to talk about politics, but we're allowed to? They didn't say we can't talk about religion. That's the one they should have put on us, actually.
I guess because they just assumed that we wouldn't, but here we are.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the other side of that debate was basically, my response is, the simple, immutable fact is that yoga originated from the Vedic or Hindu culture. Its techniques were not adopted by Hinduism, but originated from it. These facts need to be unequivocally stated in light of some of the things being written to the contrary by yoga teachers. The effort to separate yoga from Hinduism must be challenged because it runs counter to the fundamental principles upon which yoga itself is premised. Efforts to separate yoga from its spiritual center reveal ignorance of the goal of yoga. And that kind of gets back to the thing I started with on cultural appropriation. It is important to understand that you are dealing with somebody's culture also when you deal with this stuff,
Well, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to. Where else? Okay, let me recollect my thoughts. Is that where else do you see like a fundamental secularizing of like the practices, just like divorcing it out of the religious aspects of it? I mean, like, where else do you see that? I don't think there's any, like, Buddhism still has it, even, like, to the counterpoint of, like, it was more of a secular thing to begin with, because he's like, there's no gods, don't worship gods. And then, like, They just made him, like, a deity.
Like, okay, God, whatever you say, dude.
Whatever you say, dude. And then, but, like,
well, but,
maybe
I mean, I get what you're saying. Taoism.
Even then, you still have
you have religious Taoism. There is religious Taoism. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, right? Like, and I kind of feel this way. You get this debate in almost every, how to say this? You get this debate even within, say, for instance, like ayahuasca circles, where you also have to deal with the cultural appropriation crowd there, where it's like, no, this is the people's culture, This is why, once again, even though Crowley was essentially a colonizer, I like his takes on it. It is not secularized, but it's like, okay, here's a thousands of year old system of, I don't want to say how to word this. Here's a thousands of year old system of coming to know yourself, which is essentially what it is, right? I mean, when you go through all the steps of yoga and you reach samadhi, one with God, what you are discovering in there is that, oh, you were just God the whole time. That's actually what I want to say, you know?
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the same thing, you know? We are all connected to God. And if you have like the means of saying like, hey, look, here's the golden path. That's it, right? Like, we have dogmas that tell us like, actually, there's only one golden path and only goes to one very specific place and it only looks like this. But we're a species that evolved on a planet, and we have, I like to say that there currently, in our time frame, there are 8.5 billion plus however many people have already passed away on this planet, paths back to God. Like, I can't tell you how to reach enlightenment because your path to enlightenment is only yours, right? You can't tell me what I need to do, like the things that I have to deal with. And so like you get into things like karma is the dealing with the material circumstances that you were born into, whether it's that you were born poor, or maybe it was that you had bad parents and you had poor nutrition, or maybe whatever it is, those are the circumstances that now you have to deal with as you bring your higher self into alignment with your material self so that you can create the experience that ends with you reaching the end of that golden path and breaking the wheel of samadhi for yourself, right? Breaking the wheel of samsara for yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to play, because we're on this tangent at the moment, is that I wanted to play devil's advocate to this whole thing. Because, you know me, I'm antisocial personality behaviors and I have to be contrarian to everything. Is
Right.
that, can you, I'm going to postulate this question, and you could talk to us about it in the Discord, what you think of my postulate, is can you culturally appropriate a enlightenment-based religion? Because I'm going to say this, is the idea of an enlightenment-based religion like Hinduism and Buddhism and Taoism and all that other stuff is that everybody should achieve enlightenment at some point, right? Which means that it should transcend culture and location and everything else like that. Can you culturally appropriate something that by definition everybody should
It's
be
transcendental.
engaged with?
Exactly. Exactly. Right. And then,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and this is kind of actually the fascinating thing that I was coming to. I had a whole thing that I was going to talk about with my little cultural appropriation thing, which I kind of threw out the window because like I understand that this is a tradition that grew in a specific path once it reached a place in the world and that seed took root. But that seed was almost the major civilizing force for a huge portion of the world that spans from South Asia all the way over to Northern Europe. I mean, the languages that derive from Proto-Indo-European language group are Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, English, German, Persian, Spanish. This is kind of the beautiful thing about that language group spread is that, are you telling me that because I'm a European person, I don't know what you did there. I should only I
You
should
saw that
only
too, right?
what yeah, I did. I should only follow what religion, what path to like because technically I'm not part of the ethnic or language group that is Christian, technically. I'm not of direct German descent, you know, I think there's more Saxony in me, which is very Odinic. There's like the whole Woden stuff and, you know, but if there's a common root, how do you then on the other end of it say like, actually, you can't look at that? And all I can come to is as long as you're respectful and you understand that like some people have struggled more than other people's and that this is a religion or a belief that defined a culture. If you can be respectful of that, it's still the common heritage of all mankind. You can't tell me like I have all this tool set, like all these people all over the world for like thousands of years have developed all these tools, you know. Now I live in a time where like I can actually appreciate and enjoy all of them. You know, I can do yoga. I can go to ayahuasca ceremonies. I can even, redefine what Christianity that I was raised with looks like and is definable in a world that's like separated from the founding of that religion by 2,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does any of it mean? You're talking about spans of times that, like, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I agree. I mean, that's the kind of the evolution of all kinds of cultures, isn't it? It's always just continuous borrowing and abstracting somebody else's stuff. I mean,
exactly.
We've run out of novelty. I mean, we've hit as we've determined that we're in the end of novelty. So, I mean, everything else now is just abstraction.
Exactly. And if we're in the end of novelty, what it really means is now it's time to start picking the things that actually work and getting your shit together and try to get out of here. That's what I'm saying.
Space. Yeah, we need to go to space.
Or whatever. Yeah. All right. So that's all the history. We'll go. I have like a whole thing on the practical end of it. We'll just kind of go over it. You have 8 limbs of yoga. Let's see. The first 2, I like to break them into 4s. I kind of came to this. It's a little bit different from how a lot of it reads. It's not that different from the Crowley stuff. The first 2 are yama and niyama, which Crowley defines yama as control. The word ni, the prefix ni means not. So like you have essentially control and not control. What's written traditionally, there's a lot of moral prescriptions for yama, and they're generally good. It's nonviolence, but it's nonviolence to the extreme. You shouldn't even have like violent thoughts, or you should only have peaceful thoughts towards people. Utter truthfulness, which really is to yourself. Non-stealing, which goes to like, I shouldn't even be like, wow, I really like Dale's toy collection, because essentially that's me stealing it.
So you can't even like pay compliment to like somebody's.
Well, I could
like...
say cool toy collection, but if I said I wish I had that toy collection, then I'm essentially like stealing it. Continence, which I think just means not peeing yourself.
Yeah, don't shit.
I think
your
it means
pants.
keeping your word also, but I think
no, I like
self-restraint. Self-restraint. But the first definition here on Google about continence is the ability to control movements of the bowels and bladder. So,
well, we did find out that a lot of these early texts talk about being clean. So I mean, like that goes hand in hand with
it
being
might just
clean,
be
right?
continence. Yeah,
just don't shit
and
on the floor, man.
Right, and
So
non-coveting. So it's just basic. It's basic like commandment stuff, like don't be a shitty person, don't steal, don't kill your neighbor, don't poop uncontrollably around them. And then niyama, Crowley defines as virtue, which once you master yama, the idea of controlling your appetites is really what yama is, right? Like, just it's the first step, right? Like you're controlling your appetites, and then niyama is like, once you've controlled them, being the most authentic you can with that, if that makes sense. Not control so that you reach not control. And those would be covered under karma yoga, which is just working out the circumstances of your birth, basically, So,
okay, I have a question then. So if yama is like controlling like your physical interactions with the world, right? Don't eat too much, don't like brush your teeth, brush your hair, don't be a dickhead, right? What if like you get to the what is it, the niyama?
Yeah.
Right? And you like find out like, oh, my authentic self is just being the biggest shitheel I've ever like I could possibly be, right? Does that come into conflict?
I don't think it would be that, but there's a balance, right? It's balancing between these two like points. So here's a quote actually in my Iyengar book where he's quoting from the Bhagavad Gita. It says, "Yoga is not for him who gorges too much, nor for him who starves himself. It is not for him who sleeps too much, nor for him who stays awake. By moderation in eating and in resting, by regulation in working, and by concordance in sleeping and waking, yoga destroys all pain and sorrow." So it's, it's the balance, right? moderation in all things, including moderation, basically. So, and that's where Crowley kind of is with it. Like, it's not, you need to control these like appetites, but then you also need to live according to your will, which is essentially, but you have to do the first to reach the second. The next two would be asana and pranayama. Asana is the postures, basically. Asana and pranayama is essentially what the foundation of Hatha Yoga Pradipika is, right? It's I kind of think it assumes you've got the first two taken care of, which, probably most people are pretty good on yama and niyama. It's not like there was a time where, like, so the niyama has 5 duties, right? It's purity, cleanliness, contentment, austerity, self-study, dedication to the Lord. And in this sense, it means like your inner guide, essentially, your true self. Asana is the assuming of postures. It's the basis of Hatha Yoga, and most yoga as we see practiced today is basically asana. It's like you get in, you go into mountain pose, and then you go to forward fold, and then you go to downward dog, and all these, those are all different asanas. But in modern yoga, most of it is like what's called flow yoga, where you're moving from one to the other, whereas in like real yoga, you'd be holding that downward dog. I've held my downward dog for 3 minutes now, and that shit is hard, man. Tell you. And then, so once you've gotten, just like yama and niyama are like counterpoints, or they're like one group, they're like your karmic preconditioning, you could say. Asana and pranayama are your body, and that's your yama and niyama are like your neurological system. You're controlling your appetites. You're controlling you're entraining your neurological system, right? Asana and pranayama are your body. You're learning how to hold these postures. And once you learn how to like put your body in this place and stay in it, which is really the thing, Crowley says, it doesn't matter what posture you adopt. You could sit on the floor cross-legged and say, I'm going to sit like this and I'm not going to move for 1 hour. And you're going to feel tics. You're going to feel itches. You're going to move. You're going to, like, within minutes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so asana is the ability to really even do that. Even just sit cross-legged and do that for a long-ass time. And then once you have that mastered, then you move to pranayama, which is controlling the subtle body, like your movement of air. Pranayama means breath control. So that's where you get like what did you say earlier? Where you like breathe in real and you make your gut like do the thing. Yeah, like that. And then you breathe out and you breathe all your air out until there's nothing and you hold that. But prana is also like, it means wind. And within your body, your subtle body system, you have winds that control your digestion. You have winds that control your farts and burps. For real. Actually, it's in this book. So you do pranayama to control those things. And then the next two are pratyahara and dharana, which are the gross and subtle control of the mind. So pratyahara it means like something like introspection, but also it's like the idea of like holding one thing in your mind until nothing exists but that thing in your mind. So your mind there's a quote I have actually on pratyahara that I was going to read. I typed it out, but then I was like, why am I typing this? This is stupid. I have it right here in the book. But now it's like, I kind of wish I'd typed it because I have to find it in the book.
I'm keeping all this in.
Yeah. Pratyahara. It says, when this stage is reached, the student goes through a searching self-examination. To overcome the deadly but attractive spell of sensual objects, he needs the insulation of adoration. By recalling to his mind the Creator who made the objects of his desire. He also needs the lamp of knowledge by his divine heritage. The mind, in truth, is for mankind the cause of bondage and liberation. It brings bondage if it is bound to the objects of desire, and liberation when it is free from objects. So basically it's like meditation. It's the first step of meditation. And then dharana is the one where it's like, because you've held this object or you've meditated on this yourself or this one object, now everything except for the self and that one object is gone. Which then leads, these are the 4 higher stages where yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, these are a lot of words, man. I've been asked to put closed captions on the YouTube channel, which I haven't figured out. It's going to be a hard one. I might try to figure it out on this one. It probably won't.
It should do it automatically. You should click on the closed caption thing.
According to my dad, it doesn't. So either he doesn't know how to turn them on, or or it doesn't work. So where those first 4 are like the lower, it's almost like, you could almost compare these to the 8 circuit model to Tim Leary. I've been thinking about how these could like map to Tim Leary's 8 circuits, where the first 4 are bodily. You have, your first one is your appetite, actually, basically, like your biosurvival circuit. Your second one is your territorial, where you're like, you've conquered your body. Now you're like looking at the area around you. Your third one is your whatever. You remember, go back and listen to the episode if you don't.
You mean a pseudo philosopher borrowed stuff from a well-established religious tradition? I'd never, Joshua. I would never guess that in a million years. That all this stuff sounds exactly the same as all the other guys that we've talked about.
Yeah. Who's a pseudo philosopher? Maybe I'm trying to be a pseudo philosopher.
Yeah. Next, you're going to tell me that there's a lot of I Ching involved with this.
No, there's no I Ching in this. This is yoga.
Okay. I was just making a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's funny.
Yeah, but see, we're talking about cultural appropriation. Now you're just mixing up cultures. I think that's...
I mean, this also maps on to like Dianetics and stuff like that. I mean, like, this
oh,
is
yeah,
like,
for sure.
Nothing is new, listener. Nothing is new. Everything that you've ever heard about anything ever, somebody else has already thought about. There is no novelty.
But that's comforting, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's comforting because it's like, it's almost like the fact that those people had to retell the same stuff. It's like just reaching you in a different way. I'm going to the source. I'll never tell you about Dianetics, listener.
I will. I'll fucking tell you
we'll
about
do
it.
an episode eventually.
It's going to be a me episode for sure.
I don't know if we can with the Globodine deal.
You don't know? Yeah, I don't think so. We're not selling anything.
So dhyana and samadhi are the last 2. Dhyana is once you have reached the point where it's just you and the object of your meditation, which could be you, could be a thing you're holding in your mind, then you reach the point where that just becomes one, and it's just that object of your meditation and you are the same thing, right? It says here, when oil is poured from one vessel to another, one can observe the steady, constant flow. When the flow or concentration is uninterrupted, the state that arises is dhyana, meditation. As the filament of an electric bulb glows in illumination where there is regular uninterrupted current of electricity, the yogi's mind will be illuminated by dhyana. So basically, your mind is filled with it becomes filled with the object of your meditation. And so Crowley says, and I think this is in other places, that in dhyana is the state where, because all of these states, at least the 4 higher states, are accompanied by things. Like when you really get into pratyahara, you should start sweating apparently and stuff. When you reach dhyana, your body will, quote, leap around like a frog. It'll like jump around. And so once you've reached dhyana, you've reached the object of like really combining your mind with, the universal current, otherwise known as adi. So like you've reached samadhi, and that's when you levitate.
We got there. We're flying.
That's when you levitate. Crowley says that people saw him do it. He doesn't put a lot of, it's not that big of a deal that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
When I levitate eventually, that's what I'm going to say. Like, yeah, I probably did, and it wasn't that big of a deal,
Yeah. It's like that meme's like, beautiful people will tell you that looks don't matter. Rich people will tell you that money doesn't matter. Yogis will tell you that flying doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's like also in all these stages, like the yogi will be offered magical powers essentially, and you have to turn them down. That sucks. Like that, like I'm doing all this work. I get offered magical powers, and I'm supposed to be like, no, I'm good. What kind of magical powers, man?
I don't know. That was like the whole hook at the end of spoiler alert, dear listener, in case you haven't watched it already. That new Fountain of Youth movie with the librarian in it. That was the whole crux, that like you can get offered the Fountain of Life, but like if you have to like basically suck the soul out of the thing that you care about the most. So like if you love somebody else, then they lose their life. But if you only love yourself, then it'll kill you, basically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that.
But you do get to keep like going forward, right? You just like are a husk.
Yeah,
Or do you die?
You basically just like implode and stuff like
Oh.
that.
That's lame.
It is.
Would you become a vampire? If somebody was like, Dale, listen, it's going to suck. You're going to have to become like a blood-sucking creature of the night, but you can live forever. Would you take that deal?
Okay, sidebar before we get into that, right? Is that the missus has been rewatching all of the Twilight movies because she went on her trip and like her friends started watching them.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been coming in and out of these movies because she likes to just like marathon TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And
Uh-huh.
oh my God, these are the funniest fucking movies in the entire world. Everything is so
Yeah.
stupid. I got into the one part where they were like explaining how like they can't have children vampires, and if you make a child vampire, then they like have to like kill it and stuff like that. They get to the point where they're like raiding this village, and like because there's this child vampire, and then they just like nonchalantly, after killing the woman that made the child vampire by pulling her arms off and her head off, setting her on fire, is that they just nonchalantly just take this little vampire boy and just throw him into the fire. That's the funniest thing I've seen in quite some time.
Which movie
Like,
was that? Oh my God. I thought those were like a teen romance movies. Like,
No, they go places. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
dang.
We might have to do like a retrospective on these because these are the funniest fucking movies.
I only ever watched the first one.
This was the second part of the last movie, the New
I see.
Moon or whatever the fuck. Everything about these movies is stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, but speaking of vampires, I just thought I wanted to share that with you. If in case you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, I'll try and find the clip and I'll post it in the Discord because it's so fucking funny.
That's awesome.
Anyways, I don't know. Depends on the type of vampire, I guess. Is really what it comes down
Type
to.
of vampire.
Yeah.
would
Do I have to
be-
look like, am I like a Nosferatu, or am I like a vampire from like the Blade movies? Because there's different radiants of
That's
being
true.
a vampire.
That's true. I mean, see, I'm more of a classic Dracula fan. I like Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So you got a range. You can be like super. I don't think it makes you like hot per se if you weren't already. So like that was just him.
Mhm.
So you just either look like the best you, or you look like a husk of you. Like you go in that range.
I don't know. I mean, I guess depends on what type of vampire. I don't know. I think mostly it's just out of curiosity of what the future would look like. Would be the only reason that I would do it. Right? It's just
Yeah.
to like, just see the future, and then I could be like a space vampire and stuff like that. That would be cool. Be like
Yeah.
a vampire on Mars. Yeah. Yes. Let's do vampires on Mars. We're doing that movie. What was that
Yeah.
Ghost of Mars? That John Carpenter movie? It's that, but vampires.
Spoiler alert, the future is just going to suck just like now, but like more. Jeffrey Bezos will live forever, and you'll have to like you'll always have to know Jeffrey.
Yeah. But what if I could just eat him? I could just eat him, though.
No, he's already a vampire.
Yeah, he's a digital vampire. I don't know. Would you?
He's the one that changed you.
Ew, no. Vampirism brought to you by Amazon. No thanks.
Yeah, Amazon vampirism.
Amazon Prime vampire.
Do you know that Amazon? Where did I see this? Was this in our Discord, or did I find this on my own? Amazon has like mini houses you can buy now.
Oh, you posted this, yeah.
I didn't post it. I don't think I didn't post it.
Somebody posted it.
Somebody posted. I think Basically, they've copied Globodyne, Pod Life.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy a house for $20,000, unfold it in your yard.
Yeah, why not? I mean, like, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's just the next evolution of, like, modular homes and, like, trailers and mobile homes before that, you know?
Okay, so I got 2 more sections. One was why, and I just put why not. So why would you not do yoga? I was tired of taking notes. I was going to fill it out.
Uh-huh.
I put how, and the only thing fascinating about that is that I can't find the article again. I was looking for it, but I found an article about how these Brahmin priests, like early in the Vedic period, do you know what soma, like the idea of soma? We brought this up one point, because I think it's fascinating. Soma is also the root word that means body in Greek, but they were basically taking mushrooms essentially, and that was how they, affirmed their connection to God, kind of thing. I thought that was pretty fascinating because, pranayama is pretty hard. Like, you blow all your air out and not breathe after that. Like, so they were taking mushrooms. And maybe all of this is just mushrooms to like, bring it back to the Tim Leary stuff.
It's always just mushrooms. It's always just
it's always just a 5,000-year-old psychedelic cult is all it really is.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's it, man. I mean, that's all I've got.
Okay, I think that's good at 2 hours on the dot.
Yeah. I kind of rushed it with the practical stuff. I had so many more words I could have said.
Yeah, that's a lot of words.
It was the way you kept yawning, though, that made me talk faster.
I'm sleepy, man. I'm tired. Fucking got up at 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. Saturday, man.
I know. Nobody lets me fucking sleep in.
7 o'clock? I got up at 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, but did you want to get up at 7 o'clock? I didn't.
I was fine with it.
Yeah, better than 5:50 or whatever time you keep complaining about.
It is sleeping in now. Sleeping in. I'll probably get up at 7 tomorrow. Gonna make me some egg in a holes.
What the fuck is an egg in a hole?
You don't know what an egg in a hole is?
What
I was
is
wondering.
That? No.
Oh man, this is like my childhood comfort food. Take a piece of bread, make a hole in it, you get a skillet hot, you put some butter in the skillet, put the bread over it, like let the butter melt a little bit, put the bread over it, and you toast it in the butter, flip it over, put butter in that again, let it toast a little bit, and then you crack an egg in that hole. And it's not French toast. It's distinctly different from French toast. You cook it on both sides, leave the egg a little bit runny, put black pepper on it. Dude, so good.
All right, I'll have to try that.
And then you put syrup on it. Then put syrup on it. Yeah. It's good, man.
Okay, I'll try
stuff.
that. So, I guess, do we do final thoughts on this? I think I know what your final thoughts going to be.
Yeah,
on
what's
this.
your final thoughts? My final thoughts are I'm already taking yoga teacher training, and I'm, you guys can sign up for classes after me.
Yeah, I already taken this to the nth degree on how I believe in yoga.
I don't believe in yoga. I really just like doing yoga, man.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think the history bit's kind of cool. I didn't know it was around for so long. That's interesting to me as well. I guess I'm kind of just like on most things like this, just kind of agnostic about it because I don't particularly have any interest in doing it myself because I have my own wacky stuff that I like to do. But it is interesting.
You like to go outside and yell at harp?
Yeah. Stop beaming me. So I think that's just, I just have a pretty neutral take, I think, on it. It's interesting. It's kind of just my whole thing.
I know it's hard to see this. I actually have a pretty neutral take on all these things, and I just find all of them fascinating. It's like if you have neutral knob and you dial it in one direction and you're just very agnostic about it. I'm like if you dialed it in the other direction, and I just find all of them fascinating, and I like to understand how they all connect together. Like, for instance, the bit about how in the oldest part of their history, you had this like sharing of information from the Indus Valley civilization through like the Middle East, and it like these cultures kind of grew up together. You know what I'm saying? You have the theories I always find fascinating, and I'm sure some people don't like this, but those missing years of Jesus's life where he allegedly traveled to, over to India and encountered Buddhism, that's not that far-fetched because the distance isn't really that far. I mean, it is pretty far, but it's not like, oh my God, he crossed the whole world. I mean, you could walk the whole thing, And the Buddha existed 500 years before, the year zero. So it's kind of like, it's not like you wouldn't have heard about it. Like 500 years is a long time for such a well-established trade route between these places, just as a speculation.
He wouldn't even have to have gone that far. I mean, like, he would have had to just go like halfway into Iran to like find, somebody
Right.
who's practicing Buddhism and stuff like that.
Right. Well, Iran, right? I texted you earlier. Iran is just a dialectic pronunciation of the word Aryan. So it's like this culture that brought this into, the India subculture already existed also in that part of the world. They have like, in Iran, the focus became around the fire god Agni, which is the root of the word Igni, which is where we get basically the idea of fire, and so it took a different coloration, like these are still disparate peoples, even though they have a common language and all that. But it's fascinating. It's super cool. It's kind of like a sword, right? There's only so many ways you can use a sword, so that when you go from like Europe to Asia, what you find is that these traditions all look the same. And everything is kind of like that, and finding the ways they connect and how we just are one species. And we don't know what we are. We don't know if we persist after death. We like to think we do, and we have a lot of ideas about it. But the ideas we come up for what that may or may not look like and how to maybe get a better life in the next go around tend to like rhyme at the end of it, That's cool stuff. And Yoga Sutras by Patanjali said that like if you do this, you can become immortal. And so like,
It's the whole crux of this, so it could be the fucking Highlander.
Exactly, man. You got me. You got me with that cosmic juice thing, because like if that's the case, if the cosmic juice is just running thin, it's just a Highlander thing situation.
Mhm. Yeah. That's the reason, like, as soon as these Armageddon happens and all other stuff, that 1,000-year reign of peace and stuff like that, that's just people living for 1,000 years because there's a lot fewer people.
Yeah. Or they're doing it because they got Eternal Life by Amazon or by Globodyne.
Yeah.
What was that
Globodyne?
product called?
Yeah. I don't know what we would call that.
Healthy Human?
We should pitch
Something like
that. What was her name?
Project.
Janice. Well, let's talk Janice about that. See if we could pitch that idea to her.
We should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Patreons. What do we got? I'll let you go first.
Patreons. For what's a reasonable price? For $80 a month. No. We'll do it through the web. So for $30 a month, you can sign up to my YouTube yoga channel.
Yeah.
It's not bad. That's just a real practical one, and I might actually do it.
Yeah, that one was a little low hanging fruit. On
yeah,
that
a little
one.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah. For let me see. Let me think about what mine's gonna be for a second. For we didn't even talk about chakras with all this stuff either, by the way.
I know chakras. I only vaguely kind of get them. I haven't like really gotten into those yet.
Mm-hmm. For $900, I will interview a vampire.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I'll find one and I'll interview him. But you have to
the
pay
finding
me $900
one. They're pretty
to do it.
secret. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Is
I
it
could
just
do
gonna be
it.
me
It
dressed
seems
up,
like-
or is it gonna be you doing a voice by yourself?
No, it seems. Well, I mean, we watch those Twilight movies. They seem to be just kind of like fucking everywhere. So, yeah, I will do a Who wrote that book? What was her name? That wrote the
Anne
interview with
Rice?
the vampire. Anne Rice. Yeah, I will do a whole Anne Rice bit where I interview a vampire for $900.
Oh man. But like they're just living a normal ass life, doing a work from home
Yeah.
job as a CPA. So like it's gonna be pretty boring.
Yeah, I gotta find the most dull vampire you've ever met in your whole. He's not rich, not particularly attractive, just dull as fuck. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, George R. R. Martin has a book about vampires on like a steamboat. It's actually
Yeah.
pretty good.
That-
Yeah.
I see. That's
Can't
what he's
remember what
writing
it's
instead
called
of
right now.
finishing the.
It's an older book. It came before Game of Thrones.
I see. Okay. All right. That's it.
All right. That's it.
TTYL listener.
Good night. The rest of the season won't be this boring.
Yeah, well, I got some great ones lined up for you, listener.
All right. Are we coming back from ads?
No, we got to wait the full length of the ads. That's
The
only
full
been
whole
like 1
time.
minute.
Okay.
I didn't know how long to
Yeah.
put it in there because I don't know how to edit.
Right. Well, if we wait too long, we're gonna have to make more ads.
No more ads.
Don't have
Only 2 ads.
I don't know, man. What's the Globodine contract say? I think it's like
About what? Ads?
about the number of ads.
Doesn't say. 2 ads per episode. That's what I've been putting
I bet it does say. Did you read it?
Mm-mm. I didn't read it again.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how to read. We've been over this. You're supposed to have read it to me like a bedtime story.
Well, I got a lot of things I'm gonna have you read tonight, so read it to you like a bedtime story.